Hello and welcome back to the next One Piece review and discussion. Yes, we are finally back after a few weeks off for Oda to take some time. We are getting stuck back into the Elbaf arc and we ended on quite a big cliffhanger. We don't know where we are going to go from here, but Oda is certainly setting stuff up for what is going to go down during this arc and who potentially is our adversary and who we are going up against, because it looks crazy. So I'm ready to get stuck into it. We have a lot to recap and a lot to go over in this chapter. So without further ado, chapter 1131, Loki of the Underworld, or Loki of the Realm of the Dead. That is a mouthful of a title, but it ties in with not only our Loki, but the idea behind the mythology aspect now, and we are getting this inclusion of the Realm of the Dead. So we continue with Yamato's pilgrimage, and it is herself, Tamarin Speed, and Komichio chasing after the person who had stole the katana in the previous cover story. So there's a development there, but that is beside the fact because there is more important things to talk about. So last we left off, we had arrived in Elbaf and the younger Straw Hat members had been taken prisoner in that Kingdom of Blocks world. They had managed to escape, and it was revealed actually that it was Road, the navigator of the new giant warrior pirates, who had stolen the Straw Hats, and he was obsessed with Nami and had got his giant crow to steal the Sunny, the ship they were all on. They had sailed through like the sleeping mists, and he had fantasized about creating this kingdom within a kingdom, but they'd managed to escape quite easily. They were running across a giant bridge away from Gerd and Goldberg, who had showed up to check in on Road, and Luffy had been constantly hearing a voice, a noise, a scream or a roar from deep within the forest of like this mountain range that they were in. And he leaves the others on the bridge. They are going off another direction, and Luffy takes himself off to just investigate this, and the others, Sanji was probably the one to be like, just give him some space. So in that moment, Luffy leaves, and there, lo and behold, chained to the whaled tree, the massive tree that was depicted as the whole of Elbaf, we see chained to its base Loki. Bandaged eyes, those signature horns, and this giant body. And he was this deceptive figure, and this is where we pick up. It is Luffy just ecstatic. He's now getting the recognition that I knew this was Elbaf. I can't believe it. Like, we finally made it. We've been wanting to come here for ages. You know, this arc has been built for so long now. Like, way back in Little Garden, this island was mentioned. So, in a roundabout way, we're finally getting to it now. The long arc that has been awaited. And he's talking about how big everything is. He's, like, basically going through, like, a whole speech of things, and he's like, oh, do you think, I wonder if Usopp figures it out yet? Like, I wonder if he knows, oh, what's up with this tree? Like, the tree so big, like, what's at the top of the tree? You know, this is meant to be like the strongest place around. Like, is this really the birthplace of war? Like, for real, what's going on? And he keeps like mithering and bothering Loki, and Loki's just like, right, hold it. And Luffy was in the middle of talking about, you know, Dory, Broggy, you know, we were on the ship with them, but we kind of woke up here, and now there's like a bunch of giants all in one place. And he's like, this really does make me think, like, you know, you guys are going to be the strongest. And he's like, will you let me talk? So Loki already on rocky ground with Luffy, and we see the animals around interact with Loki's like scream, and he's like, listen here, okay, I'm the sun god from the legends of our land. And he's like, don't speak unless I say so, human. So he's got that sort of arrogant air about him now between giants and other races, I guess. And we get the reveal: the accursed Prince Loki himself of Elbaf has been given a special bounty by the whale government of 2.6 billion berries. So a special bounty is a pretty big remark to how dangerous this dude is, and it's just another big opponent for Luffy to probably have to take down. But for right now, that's not going to happen. He's chained up. There's nothing possibly going to happen for Loki to be free. You know, he's chained up, and he even says, look, what do you think of the predicament I'm in? And Luffy very plainly just says, well, it looks like you got caught. And he's like, okay, that's a very shrewd observation you've made, but, you know, wasn't, you know, to merely catch me. You know, Elbaf and all of its warriors wanted to sweep me under the rug. And he says, look, I have been praying for my release every day these past 6 years. Okay, so this dude, Loki, the accursed prince, has been chained to this tree longer than Luffy and the others have been on their journey. I think all in all we're under 3-ish years. There's obviously the 2-year time skip. I think it was like a couple months either side as being like the arcs, give or take. So we're looking at 3-ish years. This guy has been down here at the base of a tree for 6 years. And he doesn't look like he's malnourished. He doesn't look like he's in any poor shape other than the bandaged eyes. And he's like, look, I am the pride of Elbaf's strength. Okay, but these chains are made of sea stone, so I cannot unleash my power, and I am bound here against the treasure tree Adam. So, pause. We've already got confirmation that there was a legendary devil fruit passed down in the royal lineage of Elbaf. Loki killed his father to acquire the fruit. That was probably 6 years ago-ish. And in that time, he now has been imprisoned by sea stone chains so that whatever power he has cannot be unleashed. This legendary, deadly devil fruit that will bring down the world, or at least Elbaf. That required all of the warriors of Elbaf to take down Loki, or at least imprison him. And then the tree itself, we pretty much knew anyway, but that is now Treasure Tree Adam. As we see it, we get another scale picture of it. So we now have got the Adam tree, which I hope Frankie has some moment to it, because obviously the sunny is made from this wood. So he asks Loppy to listen to his proposal, and Luffy's like, I'm Luffy. So I like that we've got the little joke there that like Luffy always gets people's names wrong. Why can't Loki get his name wrong, you know? So they want to make a deal. And Loki is like trying to worm his way out of these chains. He's like, look, you come down here. How about we make a deal? I'll wipe out any pirate crew you want. You name it. There will not even be a trace of them left. Just set me free. You know, the key to these chains is somewhere up in the village. And you can see like his legs are chained. His arms are chained. He's still got a weapon on his back, which is kind of odd, but maybe it was just like they pinned him down, they've got the chains on, and they've just left him. Like there was an agreement between the giants, no one goes near him because of how much of a sort of mischievous guy he is. You know, he's Loki. So he's like, I can't force you, you know, myself, but, you know, I did kind of forget to mention that this place is the realm of the dead. Okay, and he says, look, this is the lowest layer of Elbaf. So what I'm hoping and what I think Oda's setting up is that we're going to have like 9-ish tiers to Elbaf, each one representing a realm of Norse mythology. And he's like, look, no one dares approaches this place. This is for criminals, the condemned. Anyone down here is an execution ground. Could Kid be here? Kid assaulted Shanks just off the coast of Elbaf, and the ship got annihilated by one of Shanks' attack. If he did and his crew did survive, it's not out of the realm of possibility that the giants have then taken the Kid pirate and have placed them here inside the realm of the dead as like penance for what they did to attack Shanks. So we might end up seeing Kid again, which is going to be funny when Luffy rocks up and it's like, oh yeah, we just survived Egghead and did all this against the world government, and Kid looks at him and goes, I got one shot by Shanks. But we see these giant creatures begin to emerge from the woods as Loki explains, look, you dig deep in this snow here and you are going to find giant, you're going to find human remains, all these bones, and these creatures, it is their domain. You know, this is known in our culture as the first world. And we see like all these types of animals, giant creatures, like Luffy's like down here. And he's like, look, you are foolish, but these creatures, these beings, you know, they wouldn't dare harm the sun. You know, I'm the one down here. I've been coming here ever since I was a kid. So they recognize me as their master. But you're just some foolish human, you know. And obviously we know. And Luffy's like, damn, this is nostalgic, man. This takes me back. And he begins walking out towards these giant creatures. And Loki's like, either he can't see genuinely, or he's just in his own head with this monologue. But he's like, look, like if you cross these guys, they won't take you lightly. You know, any human that has to try and survive out here has to wear like these putrid smelling clothes. They have to basically become dead people in order to survive and become a walking corpse. And we see these individuals in like these long black like scream masks and cloaks with swords and lanterns, and they're like, well, that's a little bit harsh, Master Loki, but you know, it's fine. Like, who's this guy anyway? Like, we were just away, you know, we apologise for earlier, we didn't expect him to show up. You know, that red-haired Shanks of all people. And we look over and we just see Luffy is like in the arm of like the giant gorilla while they're all like kind of like petting Luffy. And he's like, wait, hang on, did you just say Shanks? And they all look up and they're like, how the hell did that kid just tame those animals instantly? So Luffy goes back to his Sabaody days of training on Amazon Lily and, you know, all those places where there was giant creatures that he eventually befriended, and he's done it instantly with these creatures. You know, they're already smitten with Luffy, and Loki's like, wait, who the hell is this guy? What? And then Luffy like jumps up into the air and he's like, look, Shanks came here, like you could have said. And Loki's like, you know Shanks? Yeah, you know, he's kind of he's that coward one, right? The coward of a pirate. And immediately Luffy jumps into gear 4 and just annihilates part of the tree next to Loki's head. Like, Loki just about like moves his head out the way and he's like, whoa, alright, okay, whoa, I was kidding, I was joking, my bad, hold your horses, I am kind of tied up here, just cut a man some slack. And Luffy like jumps down, he loses gear 4 and he's like, you don't joke about that thing, you know, there's nothing you should be joking about. And he's like, well, that's not fit. Like, I can't even move right now, like, come on, like, cut me a break. But you can see Loki's kind of got under Luffy's skin, and he kind of knows now that what buttons he can push, because Luffy starts to inquire now. He's like, why didn't you tell me Shanks had come here? Like, was he just running an errand? Like, is Shanks still on Elbaf? And Loki's like, you know, that's something that's going to cost you. I can't just go and tell you that. And we leave them there. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't think Luffy is going to be the one to release Loki, because from what we're seeing and what I assume the direction we're going to go is, Elbaf will come upon Ragnarok, the end of its time, the end of the world as it is, and it will be when Loki is set free from the chains. Now, in Norse mythology, it is not Loki that is chained up, it is Fenrir, his son, the wolf who eats or swallows the sun. You know, the creature that kills Odin. And, you know, there is a huge battle ensues. So I don't think Luffy is going to be the one to free him, but he's certainly going to be the one to fight him towards the end. So whether another character comes along or a returning character who then gets persuaded by, you know, Loki. Like, I did mention Kid could be around. If Kid happens upon Loki and Loki says, you know, Kid, if you free me, I'll deal with Shanks for you. That is a pretty easy sell for Kid to go, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. And then all hell breaks loose then. So that'll be interesting. But we come back to the other remaining Straw Hats who are still crossing a bridge. We've had a whole conversation with Loki and they are still crossing this giant bridge, and they begin to panic as they see that Road is rushing behind them. He is like still smoking, and they're like, looks like he's been struck by lightning. Oh, it's obviously that sun god, but he's got his mask off now. We knew it, right? Okay, we're on to it. And they can see behind it is the other two giants of Gerd and Goldberg chasing after him. And Goldberg, in both hands, is holding the Sunny. Literally just running with the Sunny in his arms like it's nothing. And they're like, right, this is unreal. Like, what is happening here? But we can't be caught. We need to get ahead of them. We need to flee. We've got no choice. We just have to go. So Sanji leads the way and he's like, we've just got to go full speed ahead, and I bet you at the end of this rope bridge there will be a village. We just can't let them catch us. So we leave them in that chase and we go back down to the realm of the dead. Now we get a little title card that we're back down here, and we're with Hyruden, and he has caught or killed a giant moose ready to be brought up to like the village to be cooked as a feast and celebration with the Straw Hat arrival. He knows they're on the way. He's heard word and he's ready to celebrate, because, you know, we even get a little flashback card to remind, you know, the readers that he was under the influence and got caught up in the Doflamingo stuff at Dressrosa. He then ultimately got freed and, you know, decided to become a part of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet and serve as one of the 7 captains. So he follows Luffy's banner now, and he's like, him and Stanzen, who's the shipwright of the New Giant Pirates, take this creature, this giant moose, away ready to be cooked. And then again we get that sort of small characterizing poster of Hyruden, the self-proclaimed part of the Straw Hat Pirates, but obviously part of the royal lineage here, I guess, because we found out he was one of the sons. He has Road, Stanzen, Gerd and Goldberg amongst his crew. So we leave them there, just a brief interlude of seeing Hyruden. But we jump to the Elbafian ship making their way to port. The island is in sight, and Brooke is saying, how do you like it, Robin? You know, this is my first time cutting a woman's hair. I was nervous, but I really hope you like it, you know. He makes a joke like, you know, my chest was beating, but, you know, I don't have a drum, a heartbeat. So everyone's reacting to Robin's hairstyle, and we see that she has reverted back to her old look with her fringe, and she's like, it's perfect. This is exactly what she wanted. She's gone back to that shorter hair, and even Frankie's like, wow, this really takes me back, you know. And we see like Oimo, Koshi, Dory and Broggy are talking about, you know, oh, I get it. You've gone back to this hairstyle that we all remember you having because it was like the first time you met Saul. And Frankie's like, oh no, you're going to make me cry already. He's like getting all sad. And they're like, well, this is the style we remember you having, Rob. Like, it really suits you. So they're all talking about this reunion that's going to happen. And it is declared that land is in sight. It is smooth sailing from here. We are about to make port at the island of the giants. And it is not before we go back to Elbaf for one brief moment and a giant shout out that Saul has fallen and he's not getting up. I swear to God, if Oda somehow just doesn't let this meetup or reunion happen, ooh, that's going to be a real hard sell now, because it was such a beautiful moment when Robin found out that Saul was still alive. And now she has cut her hair to go back to the way it was. I really hope we get that sort of beautiful reunion with the two of them. But apparently we might not, because Saul has collapsed, and that is the end of this chapter, because we don't know what is going to happen. So thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Let me know what you thought of this chapter. I will see you guys next time. Bye.